Welcome back. You're still watching Network Africa on Channels Television. Now, on this edition, we've been looking at what's happening as regards press freedom, not just in Egypt, but right here in Nigeria. If you're a journalist, this next story will affect you the most. It's the story of Yomi Olomofe, who almost lost his life while in the line of duty. I must warn you that the pictures you will see while we're talking to Yomi could be disturbing. Mr. Olomofe, who is the executive director and chairman editorial board of Badagry Prime, was beaten a couple of weeks ago to a coma state by smugglers in the full glare of the public within the premises of the Seme Border Command of the Nigeria Customs Service. The Lagos Council of the Union, in a statement signed by the chairman, Deji Elumoye, said the body has briefed its lawyers on the sad occurrence and will definitely file a range of lawsuits against the Nigeria Customs. Mr. Elumoye in the statement said he wondered why a journalist going about his lawful duties would be so harassed and molested, noting that the leadership of the union has instructed its team of lawyers to file charges, which include but not limited to attempted murder,
Yes, duly accepted, and in good faith, I proceeded to the venue of the meeting, and well, the meeting actually held, deliberations, were held, and all of the parties rose from the meeting on an agreeable note, seeing any way that as journalists, we are constitutionally empowered to, do our best to ensure that we get to the root of issues, get to the truth, get the facts, so that the reading public are only availed of the truth at all times, factual reportage and all of that. And so we had that meeting at Seme Border, and myself and a younger colleague journalist and the government officials, who convened the meeting. We eventually resolved the journalist who had issues with the department in question. Graciously, I must give that to the young chap, graciously agreed to discontinue investigations into the news story he was working on. Well, I felt particularly good, seeing that we will need to be cordial with our news sources at all times if we intend to get easily to the root of factual reportage. And so we concluded the meeting and exchanged pleasantries, took our leave of the office where the meeting held, only to step out and upon further exchange of pleasantries, to be confronted by this horde of very, very wild-looking characters that are not really exactly unknown in that axis, that I see as people who have constituted themselves into some sort of authority, because all of what they did in broad daylight, in the glare of the public, without being law enforcement people, without any provocation, must have been done by a set of people who believes that they are above the law. And seeing that they are not unknown in that axis, it is particularly worrisome for the profession, for the practitioners of the profession, that it is not enough that unknown assailants are coming after you. People who know you and you know may jolly well be your next assailants. And they jolly well might also be doing it right in the glare of the public, even knowing that
no reason was given
other than I must die, for me personally, that I must die that day.
That's what you were told?
Yes, upon the physical assault, as I was being battered, the lead assaulter, who, well, security agencies are working on it as reports have been filed. The police had been formally written and notified. The other security agencies also had been duly notified. As he was pummeling me, he kept repeating that I must die, that he needs, himself and his group needs to kill me to serve as a deterrent to journalists. And just before I lost consciousness momentarily, I was like, well, what's this world coming into? Right in the glare of the public, unprovoked. It's almost beyond words.
It's really beyond words, because we've seen the images which are actually showing on the screen. I'd like to ask you now, what actions did you, thankfully you made it out alive.
I bless God for that.
Yes.
I thank God for some good Nigerians,
yes,
who really, in spite of, there are known characters who intervened and were equally told to either step away or begin to receive the same treatment. And they are alive, they're out there. They can,
Yes.
So, I just want to thank God, thank Nigerians who came to my rescue, and believe that on this one occasion, justice will be seen to be done.
Yes, now following the direction to which you're going,
yeah,
I do know you've taken certain steps, certain actions since that unfortunate incident. What has been the outcome of those steps that you've taken?
Well, like I said, agencies of government has been written. And as we know, with things government, reactions usually aren't spontaneous most
yes,
times. Because I know I personally delivered from inside the ambulance on my way to the diagnostic center, the medical doctor and 2 members of my family who were in the ambulance with me that morning of 25th insisted that we try and just put something down officially and then drop it off at a law enforcement office. And the nearest one to us on our way to the diagnostic center was the one on the Badagry-Lagos Expressway, the area headquarters, area commander's office at Okwafo, Badagry axis.
Yes.
I left my report there, narrating in detail
yes,
what transpired the previous night. And I'm aware that the Inspector General of Police has also been written. So I know that, it is only normal for us to expect
yes,
reactions from the police,
yes,
and from all of the other security agencies that might, be related, in this matter.
Now, what would you like journalists like me to learn from what happened to you? Because I see that your spirit isn't dead.
It will not die,
yes,
so long as the body isn't dead.
Exactly. So what lessons do we draw from?
We must remain courageous, we must remain focused, we must be undeterred. Hazardous, yes, the profession is. Nearly worthless, yes, the profession is. But we get fulfillment from knowing that we're playing a statutory role in the society, we're the conscience of the society. And my advice for my colleagues, because you will see, as it's obvious, activities are ongoing around the globe by journalists,
yes,
who continue to agitate for the emancipation, recognition, and respect for the profession. My advice is for our people, by and large, not to be discouraged. We are in a profession that everybody really wants to keep you at arm's length, even knowing how useful, how vital, how necessary you are in the scheme of things in the society. So we just must not be deterred. We must remain focused. We must remain professional. Always strive to get to the root of whatever news story you are working on.
Well, Mr. Yomi Olomofeya, we're really inspired by your story. We're glad that you were able to make it today. Thank you so much for your time.
I must also quickly tell you, my sister, that I need at this point to quickly appreciate a few Nigerians and a few institutions. I am overwhelmed. The Office of the Public Defender, Lagos State apparatus,
okay,
had been in touch with me.
Okay.
They had promised to ensure that they do their part to see that justice is done to the assaulters who are not unknown.
Yes. Emphasis on them not being them not being men in the shadow, they are actually known. And we do hope that you do get justice because you deserve justice. Thank you so much. Now, at this point, here's our question for the day. We'd like to ask you what more you think should be done by the government to protect Nigerian journalists. Feel free to send us your feedback either via email or Twitter. The address and handle are right there on your screen. As always, it's been a pleasure. Thank you so much for watching Network Africa right here on Channels Television. I'm Cynthia Aria.